Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to Dynascape's Intermediate Cup Grand Finals. We started this tournament off with 32 teams. We are now down to the final two, and wouldn't you believe it? It's our Seed 1 versus Seed 2. But maybe not in the arrangement everybody was expecting. In the winner's side of the bracket, it is Dynascape Loves French People, our number 2 seed, going up against our losers bracket champion, banned from 4DM, in what will hopefully be a titanic clash between two very, very stacked lineups. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Sunny. Sunny, how you doing?
Hello, Sparky. Things are going amazing, and like you mentioned, it is a Seed 2 versus Seed 1 battle. Dynascape Loves French People actually pulling up the upset last week in the winners final, sending Banned from 4DM down to the losers bracket, in which they had to fight to get back to the grand finals, to where they could potentially maybe take down the beast that took them down earlier, defeating Ryan and the Wongs yesterday in the losers finals, or grand finals. And they are looking for redemption against the team that knocked them into the losers bracket.
Yeah, revenge story in the making. We have the rocket ship ready, primed and loaded, but it only has room for one team to sit inside it. And, I mean, for Banned from 4DM, they're going to have to beat Dyna Loves French People twice. Once to force that bracket reset, a second time to be crowned champions of this tournament. Dyna Loves French People, by virtue of being in that winner's bracket, only has to win outright once. So be on the lookout for that. If they do lose and they do win the next one, then it's a foregone conclusion. They win the tournament. But anything can happen. These are two very, very equally matched lineups, as we saw in their finals matchup, where yes, the scoreline was 6-2 in favor of Dyna Loves French People, but you look at that MP report, and a lot of those score lines were within 5,000 points between these two teams. So it could have easily gone either way for that match in particular. So it'll be interesting to see how Banned from 4DM approaches this match, and how Dyna Loves French People approaches it as well. As you mentioned, Banned from 4DM winning the match against Ryan and the Wongs to get here by a scoreline of 7-0. Pretty convincing overall. And Dyna Loves French People has that knowledge of those score lines to play with now as we approach this first warm-up.
Yeah, they do have that advantage of maybe potentially doing their homework, looking at the MP link to see what maps to strategize, to see what to avoid and what to go for Banned from 4DM. And seeing, again, like Kamui and Sky, the dynamic duo for pretty much the entirety of Dynascape Loves French People, they have been the two to really shine the brightest for that team. And with Kamui's really good rice skills and Sky's exceptional accuracy, I'm sure for Dynascape Loves French People, they're going to probably stick to that top half of the map pool. As we can see, Kamui absolutely pretty much tanking this warm-up that seems to be just quite a level ahead of what we currently have for this map pool.
Yeah, this is one of those maps where it's playable in comparison to some of the other warm-ups we have seen, but it's definitely one of those maps where in a warm-up you don't want to really expend too much energy trying to like muscle your way through it, because you know that this isn't going to count for anything at the end of the day, outside of maybe like bragging rights. It's like, oh, look what they did, they got like a 99% on this. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't get you a point. So understandable that Banned from 4DM maybe just taking a bit of a back seat to let this play out, maybe just pitter-pattering around some patterns here and there, just keep their fingers active a little bit.
Yeah, especially with the term warm up probably being taken literally with a pretty dense warm up map, honestly. Mapped by Kamui, so I reckon this is Dynascape Loves French People's warm up. And as the map is coming to its conclusion, this is bearing striking resemblance to our Rice 2 chart, but just, you know, a couple steps more than what that map has in store. So maybe they do have their eyes on, like I mentioned, that more technical and stream side of the Rice pool. But that will conclude. I would assume Dynascape Loves French People as well. I think we have one more, and then we will be getting underway with all that jazz, the protects, the bans, and that sweet first pick.
And as we wait for that next map to load up, yep, it is. I love the fact that these guys make their own charts. Maybe not for this, but just that they make their own charts. So we saw Kimui with their map for warm up, and now we have Koidex. And if I know Banned from 40M well enough, this is probably like an LN dump with some SV thrown in there for good measure type of map. But honestly, with them, it could honestly be anything.
Oh man, yeah, I've seen this map a lot, especially in this tournament. I think Banned from 40M has been kind of showing off this beat map, but I actually haven't seen this get played. But oh man, I haven't heard this song in like 5 years.
Yeah, it's definitely a YMCA contender for sure. It'll be interesting to see the VOD afterwards.
You'll be not hearing our voices for the next 2 minutes and 56 seconds.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys in about 3 minutes if you're watching the Twitch VOD after this. But regardless, everybody taking no fail. Oh boy, just look at the arrows. You just know.
And this, like, we had Timor Leste carry those funny warm-ups, and then passing the torch onto Ryan and the Wongs yesterday with their warm-up, and now passing it to Banned from 40M with this map. Oh man!
Giving people access to the editor was a mistake.
We should, they should lock the editor behind a paywall at this point.
Honestly, but then we wouldn't be able to see such glorious things such as this. I love the fact that it's like everybody, most warm-ups we see that are in like this like joking category are usually like these hyper physical Rice dumps that are like absurd in nature. But then this takes finesse. This is class. Adding the SV as that additional element of just middle finger properties. It is so lovely to see.
Oh my god, Azra, this guy's playing on Hard Rock.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? Yeah. Just make it OD10. It's already hard enough to hit.
Oh man.
This should be the quality of the SV in major tournaments. That's all I'm saying.
I'm expecting all those SV charters for MWC to take notes on this amazing map right here.
Yes, this is peak SV, of course. I'm putting that /J at the end of it for anybody actually thinks I'm being serious. But regardless, we're about 3/4 of the way through this warm-up. As you mentioned, we'll be getting into the roles, protects, and bans shortly thereafter this. And a reminder to anybody watching along, this is a best of 13 match. First team to 7 points will be taking home the victory. If it is Dyna Loves French People, that is it. They are crowned the champions, and we can all go home and give them their roses. If Banned for 40M wins this match, we go to a bracket reset, and we do it all over again. Maybe not with the warm-ups, but we got to do it all over again.
we have to play this map again if they force a bracket reset.
Can we toss out? Can we call an audible? Can we throw out the tiebreaker? Just make this the tiebreaker in case they go to tiebreaker.
They'd have to make it like they'd have to play it like twice in order to actually meet that tiebreaker. Meet that tiebreaker rubric of being like 4 to 5 minutes. And you tried, everyone.
You tried. Give yourself a pat on the back, guys. You tried.
Yeah, you tried with a D.
And the Y.
And a Y.
That is proper grammar.
I forgot. I think that was LS Mari who drew this amazing, badge, which, like I said, is a throwback to BSM Brawl, another BSM hosted tournament that was, I think, hosted back in like the fall, so a couple months ago.
Like
we saw that magnificent artwork. But anyway,
got the rolls coming out here.
Have been concluded. Yeah, though the warm-ups have been concluded. We will be getting into the rolls now, and it looks like Dynascape Loves French People won the roll, and they're opting to go for that first protect. And like I mentioned, seeing Sky and Kamui, some of the two biggest Rice stars in this tournament, they are gonna probably go for that Rice range, and I think Banjo might have ate the message. We're not getting relayed their protect. They actually protected LN3 apparently.
That's incorrect. Pataraj got fooled.
That fooled the ref and us.
I saw it clear as day. Pataraj saw French people, assumed it was them. But regardless, that out of the way, Rice 4 is going to be the protect for Dyna Loves French People. And I guess we know what the protect from Band for 40M is going to be. It is going to be LN3. So developing into that Rice versus LN type of match that you were alluding to, because of the fact that Kamui is such a hyper physical Rice player, and the fact that Sky seems to be that perfect complement to them to be able to provide those supporting scores. That being said, I mean, Sky's no slouch on the LNs. It's just a matter of if Kamui can equal that level of performance as well, because we know that Band for 40M has the likes of Clamati in reserve for those LN charts. So two opposing forces going to be clashing here before too long. It'll be interesting to see if maybe we start tussling down in the hybrid to really break some of the deadlock. And it looks like the Band for 40M is going to be Rice 3, so getting rid of electricity. Understandable there with that ban.
Yeah, very, very dense Rice pick. Definitely screams Kamui can 995k this without a warm-up ban. And with, of course, Dynascape Loves French People not wanting to give Band from 40M that much of room for them to probably get like a 985 or 990 on these LN and hybrid picks. Gonna knock out hybrid 3. So definitely going for probably their opponent's advantages as well as their own weaknesses. So makes sense for those protects and bans. Definitely need to be strategic with those. And with those out the way, it is now Dynascape Loves French People's first pick. Would not be surprised if they immediately jumped into the more dense side of the Rice pool. Maybe something like Rice 2 or Rice 1 would be the first pick, but we're going to have to see. We have a grand total of 7 Rice maps to pick from.
Yeah, 7 Rice maps to the 5 pure LNs. Those hybrids, like I mentioned, are going to be the real proving ground for Band from 40M. That being said, a breakpoint in either direction really just blows this match wide open, because you would imagine that getting it back off your opponent is going to be a very tall ask, and it looks like Rice 6 is going to be the first pick here. So we're going to go into Uchu Yue to start things off.
Yeah, this was one of the maps that was played in Banned from 40M versus Ryan and the Wongs. Banned from 40M did take the sweep on that, and they're going to have to match up with the likings of Clamati and Pataraj, I would imagine. And they did put up really good scores from that. 990, 654 from Clamati, and Pataraj with a very good 984 from following them up. Kamui and Sky seeing probably meeting or gonna have to try to meet those boundaries at least. Would not be surprised if Banned from 40M replicates those scores pretty well. But for now, we're gonna have to see as we get underway with the first map of the last match. Well, technically second to last if we get a bracket reset, but still.
Yeah, technicalities, but overall, the last matchup between two teams in this tournament, and it is an interesting first pick. Now that you mentioned the scoreline that Banned 40M had, this actually makes it probably one of the riskier right picks that Dynascape Loves French people could have gone for to start a match off. This is probably the most volatile pick they have in that right category. And as we get things underway here, things start off relatively calm for as abrasive as this map can get, and everybody hanging strong above that 99.8 mark, give or take a few hundredths of a percent. We haven't really dove into the real meat of the chart just yet, just pressing into that second quarter, and it is staying deadlocked inside of 1,000 points either way before we really get off to the races here.
Yeah, and as we get into a little bit of a break section, about a third of the map completed, and as these mini jacks and these birds get away, ooh, Pataraj finding a break into that transition, which is definitely not a really good spot to miss in, but as long as they can handle these tricky bursts with those mini jacks, they could probably recover very well. But for now, that is an 11,000 point lead, now increasing up to 15,000 in the likings of Dynascape Loves French people. Sky finding some accuracy drops as well, 98.5. It's mainly just those FCs and Kamui's godlike accuracy still in that 99.8 range, as that lead is roughly by 17,000 points. But will start to shrink as Pataraj reaches that 400 combo cap and starts to recover that miss. And we have a little bit of a break section, just a third of the map left to go now. 17,000 points and just staying around that mark. And we're going to have to see if Banned from 40M can potentially take this back in their favor. We're going to have to see some monumental breaks in this next section from Kamui or Sky. Probably 2 or 3 can do the trick, but we're just going to have to play the waiting game and see if they are willing to drop those misses.
Yeah, and even then, they've definitely built up a bit of a cushion to work with through this outro. Things start to pick up once more, but everybody's starting to lock in a little bit. The miss from Pataraj really doing a big chunk of damage due to the fact that they lost a ton of accuracy as well. Clamati falling from their perch as well, not really helping matters there. And I mean, this is the perfect recipe for the red side over here, leaving it all to Kamui to just hack their way through some of these ridiculous patterns and just having Sky hanging tight, holding on to the FC. We've known them from past tournament experience. Might not have the highest accuracy at the end of the day, and Clamati falls as well. Both FCs gone from Banned for 40M. It was already a little too late at the end of the day, and Dyna Loves French people going to pick up the first point in this match to make it 1-0.
And yeah, Kamui.
Nah, it's grand finals. Come on, man.
You know, I was having the same talk with the people from Banned from 40M. I was talking about, Clamati's 990s, 980s, and all these players doing extraordinarily well on we just try to give them the hardest maps possible, and they just absolutely breezed through them. Even with that one miss, 984k, really good from Clamati. Just could not match up with the likings of Kamui. And but no harm, no foul. It is banned from 40M's pick, so they do have the pick of the litter. They can go for what they feel they could probably take a point off of, and they're gonna go for LN1 Phony. This is another map they went after in that last match, and 986 from Koidex and 973 from Clamati, so very good scores from them. We're just gonna have to see if Dynascape loves French people's LN skills can be transferred from their rice here.
I imagine so. This is where we kind of flip the script a little bit, where Kamui handles the rice. Now it's going to be Sky's opportunity to really show their LN proficiency. I imagine they're going to be trading back and forth the responsibility of kind of being the anchor for their team. And for Banford 40M, I mean, this entire lower half of the map pool is their playground. It's just a matter of what they want to go for stylistically at certain times. Because we know what Clamati and Koidex are capable of doing on these LN charts. Just monstrous accuracy throughout these pools. Starting to dip a little bit once things get a little bit harder, but I mean, that's to be expected. I mean, with LNs, you have to really keep things locked down. You can find yourself just bleeding accuracy due to those releases if you're not too careful. And as we get this map underway, can Ban from 40M respond? Or will we see the first breakpoint in this match occur?
Yeah, it's just a matter if they can handle these very tricky LN releases and can even turn into inverse at sometimes. And with its 3 minutes in length, there is lots of room for mistakes, and we're already seeing out of the get-go Ben from 40M having a slight advantage, but I would reckon we are going to see this a lot, even triple-digit score difference out of the very beginning of the map. There is still lots to go, and we're seeing Koidex and Clamati with the highest accuracies in the lobby right now, holding up very well. Sky just trailing behind just a bit, 99.5, nothing really major, still a very close lead approaching the first course. This is where things do show things to be a bit decisive, where more of these LNs do come in with some shields as well. Koidex finding a 200, that lead will start to shrink a bit, but I believe a trade from Sky did even things out, and as more shields do come in and some more inverse patterns, that lead will stay in the range of Ban for 40M and will start to increase by roughly 2,000 points now.
Yeah, it is just separated by the accuracy between these two teams, where it feels like for every 10th traded is a 10th gained for the other side, and what was a 2,000 point advantage has now tripled to about 7,000 points. All four FCs still left on the table, but as the patterns continue to rain down, it's a real test of your focus, staying disciplined in those releases, and we're starting to see some slips. There goes Sky. They were struggling to hang on, losing about 0.3% before finally breaking, and that's the opening that Ban for 40M needed to really stretch this advantage now. 9,000 points, about to crest 5 digits as we make our way into the final third of the chart. They are still holding on strong. Clamati 99.4, Koidex 99.6, highest accuracy in his lobby. Kamui doing everything in their power to try and keep Koidex in check, but the battle between Sky and Clamati is winning that one by a considerable margin as we make our way to this final quarter.
Yeah, and as we get into the bridge, into the final chorus, 10,000 points of difference to work with Ban from 40M. They're just going to have to keep that because Kamui is right on the tail of Koidex, and Sky is starting to climb up to Clamati's accuracy, and they're going to have to be really careful on this final session. I don't think they can afford a couple of misses. This lead is changing a lot, which can be very tenacious towards any drops, and I feel like one from Ban for 40M could make things like a 6,000 point difference, but as the map is closing, that lead is only increasing, and it looks like Ban from 40M will be taking this point and will be tying things up at 1. A valiant effort indeed.
Great response from Ban from 40M. Able to hold both FCs, being able to withstand that opening barrage where things were inside of about 2,000 points and able to see it through to the end, avoid giving over that break point, and now things shift back over to the red team. What is going to be the pick here? They still have plenty of rice to choose from should they wish, unless they want to do a complete 180, throw us all for a loop, but I don't think it's time for that just yet here.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they stay in that rice range. They do have a grand total of 6 rice maps, and rice 6 went really good for them, so would not be surprised if they stay in that range. They always have, like, pretty much any of these maps can probably benefit them, but they're gonna have to be careful on some, because that lead difference in rice 6 was nothing far in Dynascape Loves French people's favor. That was, I believe, very, very close until I'm pretty sure that ending came along and some misses were dropped. But man, yeah, 31,000 points, and that was in consideration of the misses from Pataraj and Clamati. Things would have been way closer if it weren't for those. But anywho, Dynascape Loves French people still discussing, and they're gonna go for Rice 4. Their Protect Woodman gonna be their pick.
Alrighty, so going for that Protect early, maybe just wanting to ensure that they could still kind of navigate these comfort picks. I think some would argue Rice 6 may be the easiest of the Rice maps in this pool, and now kind of leaning on another strength that they feel they might have, and basically, I don't want to say guarantee a point, but it's arguably the lesser of all evils. And we see Pataraj check back in, as was probably going to be the case for Ban for 40M, just as rotating cast between the styles as we continue this match. And as we get this underway, can we continue the trend, or will that first breakpoint rear its head? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, underway with Rice 4. Dynascape Loves French people's Protect, and I would reckon this would be a very technical pick, so definitely fits Kamui's range of what they could really go for. Seeing the mapper being high 19, very, very well-known Flash Revolution mapper, but there is a miss from Sky opening right before the 400 combo cap too, which is not a very good miss to have right there. And that was a pretty detrimental one, but nothing way too out of the woods yet. 99.5 and climbing. Kamui trying to settle that miss as best as they can. Still in that 99.9 as Pataraj and Clamati are both in 99.8 ranges. That lead will begin to shrink, but Kamui misses. No more FCs now on Dynascape Loves French people, but Pataraj trades that miss back. And now it's all up to Clamati to see if they can keep this in Ban from 40M's way. One more miss from them, and that lead will flicker to Dynascape Loves French people as Sky climbs up to that 400 combo cap. Kamui not too far behind that 400 combo cap, and they are going to get over it. That I would not be surprised if that lead starts to flicker in their favor in this next pattern here. But for now, Entourage missing. Now it's in Dynascape Loves French people's favor. This is what they need to worry about the most now, is just keep control of those misses. Clamati still holding on. One more miss from Dynascape Loves French people can put that lead back into Ban from 40M. But the more map they go with FCing, the more combo, or the more the lead will be in their favor.
Yeah, last third of the chart left to go. Pataraj finding yet another drop, not traded once again by the red side, and I think Kamui and Sky have kind of locked in here. Clamati doing everything in their power now to try and keep things in check, but even with the FC, even with the sole FC in this lobby, Kamui has the highest accuracy. Pataraj finding another break, still not traded by Dynascape Loves French people, and they managed to weather that opening storm, both of them losing their FCs very early on in the chart, but now starting to kind of coast along to this final quarter. Still not out of it yet. A disaster could happen. This is still a very tricky chart to make it through unscathed, but they have managed to continue on here. Last eighth of the chart still coming through. There's still only one FC on the board here, and it is on the side of Band from 40M, but it is not going to be enough at the end of the day. The margin, 20,000 points. And as the final patterns start to rain down here, it looks like it is going to be Dynascape Loves French People picking up this second point, but it was so fiercely contested there at times.
Yeah, even with the 989.FC from Clemati, it just wasn't enough. Unfortunately, it just came down to who missed more. And unfortunately, Pataraj, 5 misses on their end, compared with the 1 miss from each player on Dynascape Loves French People. We'll give them that advantage 2-1, but it is banned from 40M's pick. Would not be surprised if they immediately drop back down to the long note / hybrid pick or picks of the map pool.
Yeah,
and
something like LN3 coming out here, just kind of go from comfort to comfort.
Yeah, definitely seeing how their last map went when it came to hybrids. They pulled off extremely well, so would not be surprised if they keep the trend going and pick another hybrid. They do, or not hybrid, long note. They do have 4 left to go for. And would I be surprised if they pick their Protect as well, with what Dynascape Loves French People did for their last pick. They went for their Protect, and now Ben from 40M is going to go for their Protect Empath. This is a pretty risky pick, I'd say. I'm pretty sure this is one of our more denser long note picks compared to what we just had with Phony. And I believe this will probably challenge the physicality more than the accuracy. But at this point, seeing what these players can do, it's going to turn into an accuracy battle.
Yeah, you imagine so. I think this is also a really good pick. Like I said, you go from comfort to comfort for both of these teams. There's a reason they protected this map. This is probably one of their more consistent picks in this LN pool. I wouldn't be surprised if, as this match goes further and further, they kind of trend away from like LN4 Ruins of Opal and maybe save that for the last pick in this LN pool, if they even go for it, because of the fact that that map can kind of spiral out of control. But we see the substitutions come in. Koidek's going to be checking back in for this to back up Clemati. They did really good on their first LN. Can they replicate that performance here to keep things tied? Shall wait and see.
Yep, we shall wait and see. And looks like we had a little bit of a thing in the chat where someone was not ready, but the referee fired the MP start command in, and here we go with LN3. Gonna be more focused on how well your release game is than what your shields were with LN1, and of course your physicality as well. As more shields are present in this map, but it's like kind of like a timing hell. So basically, how well your timing is with this map, and at 200 BPM, definitely gonna have to control those timings very well. And some shields littered around this map as well, so definitely can slip up on some parts there. And for now, just like we saw with the last map, the lead in Band from 40M's favor going out of this first quarter by roughly 2,000 points.
Yeah, similar to what we saw in Phony from earlier, where the margin's really tight through this introduction, but Band from 40M has had such good team LN accuracy throughout this tournament that they've kind of been able to withstand storms from teams that do have comparable LN scores. But Kamui gonna be the first one to find a break going into the midsection here, and that's gonna do some pretty considerable damage. The lead balloons to about 12,000 points in favor of Band from 40M. They already had the accuracy advantage, and now they have an extra miss in the back pocket to work with going into the back half here.
Yeah, 14,000 points based off that sheer miss from Kamui. And there's another one, and that lead will start to increase now. 20,000 points as they're tying their accuracy with Sky now. And they're going to climb up to that 400 combo cap. That will shrink the lead just by a tiny bit, but only just the slightest of means now. Koidex and Clamati still holding on to their FCs. Koidex with the highest accuracy, 99.64. A quarter of the map left to go. It's going to take a plethora of misses if that lead wants to shift back to Dynascape loves French people. Sky also holding on to their FC as well. And Kamui missing again with these tricky long note sections and finding another one not going to benefit them. And as this map is closing out, there's only one section left, and as it looks and as it stands now, almost 40,000 points of difference now, and final part of the map going in now. 40,000 points of difference to work with, and I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that Banned from 40M will take this point and will tie things up at 2 now. It is now a best of 9 situation. Look at both players FCing on Banned from 40M, and of course Sky with the FC as well. Very good scores.
Yeah, just incredible performances. To single-digit 200 count on something like that is ridiculous. And Clamati with the supporting score, only by 10 200s as well. The ratios off the charts. I mean, there's a reason they protected it. They probably knew they could consistently swing an FC on that. And right now, just waiting on the next pick for Dynascape loves French people.
And yeah, it will be their pick. Would not be surprised if they stay in that Rice range. They have now 5 more Rice maps left to go. And as you mentioned at the start of this stream, breakpoints are going to be crucial in this match. If there's even the slightest of one breakpoint, that could definitely determine the winner and or not. And Rice 1 going to be the pick from Dynascape loves French people. And it's going to be, I would reckon, not Dan Practice Pack and Nachman Core, I think is how you would say it.
Yeah, something like that. I would have gone with Nachman Core, but I mean, honestly, I'm pretty sure people would probably just call it like Breakchild or something, or Kanata Core. Regardless, Rice 1 is going to be the pick here. And as we wait for it to load up, we're starting to get into the more just raw physical picks in this Rice pool. This one going to be the jump stream pick. And right now, everybody just kind of making sure. Our referee, I'm pretty sure there's some banjo things going on. We're trying to keep 2 different continents like on schedule here. So probably some delays in those messages as the players are seeing here, where I think our referee got a erroneous message thrown at them from their client, and led to some funny business in that last map, but ultimately didn't come to anything. Might have just caught our players off guard just a little bit, but I think now they're going to be really really making sure that everything's here.
Yeah, and I believe this is the... Is this the ranked map? Wait, no, the ranked map is 15 minutes. Never mind. Yeah, this must be a cut version.
So I remember when Mint was creating this chart, she had broken it down into 4 different distinct sections. This is the 4th section. This is the 4th section of that 15-minute marathon chart. So
Oh, okay, so hence why it's called Dan Practice Pack.
yes, because it is broken up into distinct sections. This is the 230 jump stream section of it. I mean, to be fair, it is just a medley of pure pain to play through. But mercifully, it's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and it's something that I think is at a BPM at this level maybe pushes the comfort a little bit, but this is still very much in the wheelhouse of all four of these players. This one could potentially teeter on a knife's edge till the very end. Whoever blinks first could potentially lose this point, depending on who it is that breaks.
Yeah, I mean, with this map being just below 3 minutes and at 230 BPM jump stream, definitely not the easiest thing in the world. And as we're seeing, just his lead relatively being tied with now giving the slight edge to ban from 40M as this first little broken jump stream section comes in. Pataraj gonna find the first miss, and that was a pretty nasty miss, dropping them down into that 98 range for the slightest of bit. Well, and now starting to climb up at a rapid pace now, almost at that 400 combo cap already. But already in 7,000 points is Dynascape Loves French People in lead. Now 8,000 with Kamui's 99.82 FC with Sky. Not too far behind, 99.4 with also an FC. It was just that miss from Pataraj. Now Sky missing. That will do some damage. But I'm pretty sure with Kamui pretty much holding the ground for Dynascape Loves French People, they will still hold on to this lead. Pataraj missing now. And now 8,000 points again on the side of Dynascape Loves French People.
It does bear mentioning Kamui found a rush of 200s on the transition into the back half of the chart. Did damage their accuracy a little bit. Now Clamati takes over the accuracy lead in the lobby. That cushion, that Dynascape Loves French People that they have been riding on these rice charts, now eliminated. If there is a mistake from their side, will be punished a lot more heavily because they don't have that above average accuracy that they've been resting on some of these rice picks. So definitely watch out for it here. Last quarter of the chart still has to go. There's still plenty of room for error. This jump stream does not stop till the very end of the ride here, and some of those gluts getting thrown in between some of the transitions as well make it incredibly hard to play through. It is still anybody's game here with 10,000 points separating both of these two teams.
Yes, final part of the map now, 10,000 points of difference and starting to shrink now. But I think with only this last part of the map to go, it's safe to say Dynascape Loves French People will be taking this point on their own pick. And Kamui, I saw a 990, and they did secure a 990, even with that 100. Still holding up very well. And Clamati with the FC for the side of Ban from 40M as well. Really good scores overall. And it is now Ban from 40M's pick.
Yeah, this is living up to the billing so far. It's just two completely opposite forces, but both teams have the potential to just at any moment just snipe a breakpoint away from the other. It's just which map is going to be the breaking point for one of these teams. And I mean, to be fair, it could very well be that tiebreaker that becomes the breaking point. It remains to be seen. Could potentially devolve down to a best of 7, depending on the pick here. I imagine something like LN2 might be on the cards. It's going to be LN4, Ruin of Opals.
Yeah, I mean, what better way to, after picking a mid-map, you go for another mid-map. So we're going to see Ruin of Opals getting the pick. And I have seen Mint's long note charting. It definitely matches up with the likings of, it definitely kind of reminds me of some Juan Crystal long note charts with their mapping style. Definitely can see some similarities. And interesting to see what this map will be. Probably going to be something along the lines of LN3. with its density.
Yeah, this one definitely flies off the handle a little bit towards the end. You start to kind of get this climactic build-up where you hear these drum fills start to take precedence over the piano in terms of the charting. You start to get these more abrasive LN gluts coming through here, just massive chords raining across the columns. And that's going to be the turning point, I think, in this map. This opening section, harkening back to LN3 a little bit in terms of the sort of staggered start-stop release esque style, but that back half, definitely keep an eye out as Kamui finds the first drop in this chart, gonna bring him down into that 98% range. Still very early on, before that 100 combo cap, so gonna give him a bit of time to kind of recover that accuracy, and we'll see if their Rice physicality can kind of carry them through some of those denser sections, as right now Ban for 40M immediately jumping out to about a 22,000 point lead here.
Yeah, as that lead from those misses from Kamui and Sky, and now Koidex missing now with these very tricky release sections and inverse. Practically could just be labeled another timing hell, and those shields as well. Sky missing again, already halfway through this map. This map is very short, just less than 2 minutes of long notes, and it's now Clamati holding the ground for a ban from 40M. But at this point, when you have a 33,000 point lead, not really going to need to worry about much when you're this late into the map. Kamui keeps on finding these drops. Same with Sky. And now, only about a quarter of the map left to go. 44,000 points of difference. Now climbing up to 47. Kamui missing again. 50,000 now as the lead just continues to increase as the map is still going on with these very dense long notes. But Clamati finally missing now. No more FCs just overall, and now only this final part of the map left to go. And with the outro, Ban from 40M will be taking their third point, and we'll be tying things up at 3, making it a best of 7 now.
Yeah, just overwhelming performance from Clamati and Koidex. I was worried about this pick being a little bit more physical or physically demanding than some of the other LN charts, but they put aside all doubts there. Sure, maybe not making it through with the FCs that we've been seeing, but ultimately just manhandling that chart. 970 Ks from both of them. What a performance. Sky and Kamui, nothing they can do there, but still very respectable scores. And now, I mean, we just dive back up to that Rice pool. What is it going to be?
And I would reckon probably gonna go for Rice 2. They only have 4 more Rice picks left to go, but Rice 2 is Wind's Nocturne, and it is that stream pick. I believe it's one of the more shorter Rice picks, just barely being above 2 minutes in length. So definitely could be one of those just easier. Yeah, and this is our second to last shortest, our second, our second to last shortest Rice pick, with Zero Dimension actually beating that map by 1 whole second. So there is Rice 2 and Rice 7 if you want to go for something very short and sweet. But we have seen with those Rice picks, banned from 40M, are definitely just on Dynascape Loves French People's tails when it comes to the Rice pick. So it's more or less just Kamui's and Sky's sheer accuracy getting the best of Ban from 40M. But still waiting for that pick. This is definitely the point in the tournament where you need to start strategizing your picks, like saving what pick you want to go for later in the turn or in the match. And they're gonna go for Rice 7. They're gonna go for Zero Dimension.
Yeah, this is definitely a pick. It's one of the harder ones in this pool to play through, and I mean, I think we've been saying it throughout this match. It's like these two teams, they have the potential to overwhelm the other on their own pick, and I'm seeing the message. Wait, wrong map. Did they get the numbers wrong? I mean, I was seeing Rice 7. I thought it would have been what would have been Rice 8, but oh, they thought there. They forgot there was 8 Rice maps. Okay, crisis averted. It is the right map, but our referee just making sure, because it is very with the map pool being as big as it is, just losing track of the numbers can definitely happen. So good on them just to make sure, because I mean it is grand finals. There is no turning back on these picks.
Yeah, this is where you don't hold back on these picks, and where you're gonna have to basically go all in. You have to bet all in on this situation. Just try your hardest and just hope things work out in the end. And so far, it's been going the best possible way for both sides of the spectrum for these last 6 picks. But here we go with the 7th now, and it's gonna be Zero Dimension. I would reckon, with how this map sounds, it's probably gonna be Jack related, and actually no, I'm gonna be proven wrong. This looks to be some pretty tricky, pretty awkward to hit broken jump stream with some technical patterns in.
Yeah, it's basically mixed Rice with Jack elements, and Pataraj finding the first break here, going to give the cushion right back over to Dynascape Loves French People. It's been the tale of the tape so far between these picks, where it's like the opening barrage is inside of about 1,000 points, and then the team that picks the map starts to develop the advantage, and once they get there, it's really hard to let it go. And with a second drop from the side of Band for 40M, that's gonna essentially double the lead, 34,000 points. We're seeing 2 very convincing picks back to back for both teams. What Band for 40M did to Dyna Loves French People on LN4, I think Dyna Loves French People is returning the favor on Rice 7 here. Now 42,000 points, going to climb now as both FCs are now gone from the blue team over here. As we make our way into the last third of the chart, a second 1-2 boot from Clamati, now 50,000 points, and I mean, it's just a complete 180 from what we saw a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, as this lead does keep on increasing for every miss we see on the side of Band from 40M. It looks like that stamina component is starting to get the best of Clamati, and now Pataraj is starting to find these misses now. Kamui and Sky holding up very well. 85 to 87, now at climbing up at a rapid pace, 100,000 now, as the map is coming to a conclusion. It seems like with every second this map goes by, the lead just continues to increase, and it's gonna be 108,000 points of difference. Dynascape Loves French People going to take their 4th point, and another 990 from Kamui.
What do they feed these kids, man? How?
Like, someone needs to make sure that they're human. Before you enter a multi, you need to fill out a captcha.
Put a captcha.
Yeah, saying if you're not a robot or something like that. And I feel like Kamui would fail that caption because they're a robot. In this case, oh my goodness, you cannot be doing this in grand finals. I said it once and I'll say it again. But as we're progressing further, those picks that both teams are relying on are starting to fade away. And like you mentioned, earlier on, either the deciding factor is going to be those hybrids or the tiebreaker at this point. If this match continues the way it is, we're gonna have to, we're either gonna see a break point, and that will probably determine who wins that match, and we're gonna see Testify.
Yeah, but that's not the pick, man. That ain't the pick.
Oh,
it's not their pick. It's not their pick.
And the ref fell for it.
Don't. God. They didn't pick.
The ref fell for it. Oh my goodness.
No, we can't just skip the pick, man. It's banned from 40M's turn. Sky defecting. Sky literally defected.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
And they just predicted the pick. Okay then.
Nah, I think they were just gonna go for it anyways. It's oh man, this is you have the colors and everything too. Like, come on, man. But regardless, it's fine.
Deep breath.
But it's a little worrying seeing Dynascape loves French people saying pick testify.
I mean, it could be either they want like saying like, oh, we are not good on this map, so pick it, or saying, well, we're just gonna tell you straight up, we have a really good score on this map and we think you should pick it so we can take this breakpoint. But we're gonna have to see. I mean, with the structure on how this match has been going, with every long note map has been picked, Banned from 40M has won, and with every single Rice pick that has been picked, Dynascape Loves French People has won on. So it's going to be interesting to see that Sky asked for Testify, and it gets picked by the opposing team. So we're going to have to see if it does favor them in the end. Because if Dynascape Loves French People gets a breakpoint this late into the match, that's going to be huge. Because not only do they get the breakpoint, but they have an opportunity to take things to a match point as well. Even just like tournament point in general as well. Because if they take that point, even if they capitalize off of that breakpoint, it's going to be a tournament point. Because if they reach 7 points, the tournament's done. So they have won. But I am like putting the future like way far ahead. We have to focus on these picks first off.
Yeah, they probably feel really confident on a pick like this, and right now, living up to the billing, Clamati and Sky kind of going at it on the top half of the lobby. Kamui and Koidex kind of neutralizing each other as well. Kamui actually holding on to the highest accuracy in this lobby. They have been struggling a little bit with these LN charts, but I think this kind of plays into their strength. It's a little bit more density oriented. You have these hand patterns that kind of are very comfortable to play through at times if you have the physicality to handle them, and right now really showing that they can as Clamati finds the first break, and Kamui trades it. No harm, no foul. Kamui finds a couple of extra breaks. Might have spoken too soon there. The density getting a little bit too much for them to handle on the transition into this bit of a calmer section. A chance for everybody to kind of take stock of the situation. Sky, the only FC on the side of Dyna Loves French People. Koidex holding down the fort. 4 banned from 40M. Still half the chart to go. Not out of the woods just yet, but this is a clear 9,000 point lead. 4 banned from 40M now.
Yeah, and as we get into the first half of the map, now complete 10,000 points on the side of Banned for 40M, but now that lead just increases with that miss from Kamui. Now 13,000 as things do continue. We still have this back half to go. The map is not over. It can take some misses to swing that lead over, but Kamui needs to control those misses, and Sky's accuracy is starting to dip down into that 98 mark now. As we get into the final, I reckon the final dense section of this map. I'm pretty sure this goes on for the rest of the map. I could be wrong, but there's some 100s from Koidex that won't be doing much in case of this 23,000 lead. But there is an opportunity if they find a plethora of bad judgments or misses that could swing the lead over to Dynascape Loves French People. But Kamui finding another miss, you would reckon that stamina component is starting to get the best of them. And there's another one. Only like a quarter of the map left to go. 30,000 points on Banned for 40M side. And I feel like we are too late into the map for things to be changing. But things always can happen when you least expect it. And Kamui and Clamati missing. Now it's only Koidex now with the FC.
almost synchronized misses there from 75% of the lobby. Koidex standing above everybody else at the moment. Still a really hard section to read through, but can they do it? Can they hang on to the only FC in this lobby? Everybody else watches it on. 37,000 points in favor of Band from 40M. They have secured this point, and Koidex secures the FC there to make it 4-4.
It is now a best of 5. And the more these two take points off their own pick, I'm starting to get a bit more nervous as to either we're going to see a break point or we're just going to head straight to tiebreaker if the structure of this match keeps on going on how it is. It is now Dynascape Loves French People's next pick. They do have a couple more Rice picks left to go, and with this LN pick, I'm pretty sure there's only one more long note pick left for Band from 40M to choose for. Yeah, and that is Counterattack.
Yeah, Counterattack, and then Men got banned, so I think that kind of will rear its head later on.
Yeah, and there's 3 more Rice picks for Dynascape Loves French People. And I feel like this is where we're going to see Long Note 2. I mean, not Long Note 2. Rice 2. No, we're actually going to see Rice 5. So we're going to see the League of Legends song. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That a Case is picking that. League of Legends player going for the League of Legends map.
Yeah, I like this pick in the grand scheme of things because you have Core Jack and then Speed. The BPM of Rice 2 is reaching a point where it could go horribly wrong in an instant if you're not too careful. And with the Core Jack being as fast as it is with the density as well, it's one of those like, okay, if you have one bad run, it could just ruin everything. So this is probably the lesser of all evils in that regard. And as we get on into this, I mean, potential to blow this match wide open, but with the way we've been seeing these things going back and forth, it's like I think this is as it has been. It's Dynascape Loves French People's pick to lose.
Yeah, and like it's getting this late into the match where you don't want breakpoints to be happening if you're like going to give them up, because you only have 3 more maps left to win and you've won the match. And as of now, Band from 40M is actually taking this early lead now by roughly 700 points. It's Sky's pretty rough beginning, 99.2 for them. But now as we get into more of these stream sections, that lead will start to shrink. But it doesn't look it's going to go on the side of Dynascape Loves French People. It's actually looking to stay on Band from 40M side. But as we continue on forward, that lead will start to go in, and Pataraj finding a miss. That was a very clean miss from Pataraj, so it's not really going to do much in this sense of things, but that will increase the lead by roughly 3,000 points, and they're almost back up to that 400 combo cap, about a third of the map completed, or roughly a quarter, so there is still lots of map to go. So nothing really much to worry about, the lead being slightly by 3,000 points on the side of Dynascape Loves French People, and starting to shrink now as Pataraj gets that 400 combo cap over. And Sky missing now!
There's the lowest accuracy in the lobby, finding the break into the transition to the back half. There's still plenty of time for them to make it up here, but because of the fact that they had that low accuracy, and Pataraj recovering very nicely. As I say that, finding another drop, the same quad that caught him out the first time catches him out yet again here, but they managed to hold on to the lead as it swings on over. Pataraj breaking on the burst towards the end of that segment, and
oh, what?
Yeah, I think that's more just a bit of fatigue missing there, just letting your finger kind of drop a little bit. It was on a very calm section, but it does do a tiny bit of damage to their accuracy overall. What could have been a 3,000 point lead stretching to about 6,000 as Clamati holding on to the Seoul FC for Banned from 40M, Kamui doing the same for their side. It's really a battle between the two of them at this point. Either one of them blinks, it could blow this match wide open here. Last quarter of the map left to go. All players handling the next quad as we continue to rain down these notes. These streams are so abrasive to read through, so easy to misread at any point here. Is there going to be a final twist and turn in this match?
Yeah, especially being at, I believe, 292 BPM these streams, and also the mix of those pretty daring hand streams that only last for about half a second, but around 10,000 points now. There is still room for mistakes, as we did see with Sky. But Clamati now missing. No more FCs on the side of Banned from 40M, and it looks like Kamui the only one FCing now. Dynascape loves French people looking, and they are going to continue the tradition of winning off of their own pick. And I swear, 990 from Kamui. Oh, and they pull it. Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. How?
It's crazy just how close. Like the score lines, a few things going one way or the other, and this could be a completely different match. Just holding on to an FC here or not breaking there. This match is teetering on a knife's edge, and I think the scoreline is finally reflective of that. It is 5-4, Banned from 40M up to pick once again. There is only one LN chart left in the pool before they would have to go into what you would imagine would be the hybrids.
Yeah, and it's defend, counter, attack. And this is where Banned from 40M needs to take a point on. They cannot afford to take a break point or to give up a break point on the side of Dynascape loves French people, because that will give them the match point situation and the opportunity to either go for one of those two final Rice maps. But we're gonna have to see. Most definitely, either they're gonna go for that final LN pick, or they're going to take a little detour and go for one of those go for those hybrid picks. I would imagine one or the other would definitely be the pick. And Banned from 40M still discussing what they want to go for here.
Yeah, I imagine the conversation has to be LN2 or Hybrid 1.
Yeah, with that Hybrid 3 ban from Dynascape loves French people, I believe. And yeah, they're going to go for LN2, so defended counterattack will be the pick. And as I was talking about with that Hybrid 3 ban from Dynascape loves French people, that map is definitely could take some hints to Banned from 40M, with them not being comfortable with the more technical LN side of things, because that map is filled with lots of bursty LN streams and some Rice technical streams that can definitely throw off some players. And here we go with defended counterattack. And this is a pretty short pick, less than 2 minutes and 200 BPM. This is pretty risky of a pick, I'd say, because you don't have a lot of room to really play. Only 2 minutes of map, and one mess up from either side can definitely spell failure. But this is where Banned from 40M needs to kick things in full gear, and here we go with LN2.
Yeah, this is a very risky pick because of that length and because of the fact that there's so many hard patterns to read through that it feels simple on the surface, but when you start to play down to it, it's going to chip away at your accuracy one way or another. Right now, Clamati and Koidax actually not having the best of starts here, down into that low 99% range. Still have plenty of time to make up some ground here. But as we make our way into the second quarter of the chart, it is a 5,000 point lead for Dynascape Loves French People here. The lead that they need to hang on to as best as they can. Both Sky and Kimberly actually out-acting their French counterparts here, and barring a miss, this is the best opportunity they've had to catch a breakpoint on an LN chart halfway through. Looking good for the red side as these patterns begin to rain down. The accuracy is going to start getting chipped away at. Can they hang on?
And with these shields and these inverse patterns starting to come in now, that lead is starting to shrink. But Komati missing. Oh my goodness, this is not what you want. I mean, there is still map. There is still opportunity for Sky or Kamui to drop a miss. There is still more of these awkward LNs, but oh my goodness, that is a part where you don't want to miss on, where the map is less than a quarter up to go, and there's still accuracy dropping with these 200s. And now they'll lead by 10,000 points, but Kamui finds a drop. There still needs to be one more, but that lead is starting to shrink. There needs to be one more miss on the side of Dynascape Loves French People if Band from 40M wants to take that lead back, but the lead is shrinking. Hold on a second. And there's just not enough map.
Watch the releases.
Oh,
they have done
goodness.
it. Dynascape Loves French People. The last LN pick in this pool. They managed to squeeze it. 1,600 points. Sky with the FC.
Yeah, Sky holding the ground, bringing it back for Dynascape Loves French People. And just like that, they have taken a break point and are on the brink of tournament point. This is their grand opportunity to shut the door on Band from 40M and ride that rocket ship into the night sky and win Dynascape's Intermediate Cup. But they still need one more point left, and it's either gonna be Rice 2 or Rice 8. Either wins Nocturne or Sidral, and they're gonna go for a timeout, which makes 100% sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're on verge of winning this tournament, and you really need to discuss on what you need to go for here.
Forget discussing. You gotta settle those nerves.
That too.
It's one of those things where it's like the mentality completely switches here, because you know you've been playing with fire on some of these Rice picks. You have to respect the fact that Band from 40M at any moment could just capitalize if you just slip up once on one of these Rice charts. They have been showing it for a majority of these picks. And it's come down to a couple of inopportune misses that have prevented Band from 40M from keeping some of these Rice picks close. And with only 2 to go, which one? Which one?
I mean, I can tell you right now, Band from 40M did play one of these Rice picks. They played Rice 2. And that was on their match point situation against Ryan and the Wongs, and they won that pick. So if Dynascape Loves French People think they have the confidence that they can take down Band from 40M on that pick, knowing they played it, they have the scores, they have the receipts to study and see if they have beat their score. But you also have to take into consideration that these players aren't robots, maybe despite Kamui, that they can't just can't push out the exact same score as they did last match. Exactly. Like, sure, Band from 40M most definitely probably did some Rice trading to get ready for this map, or I mean for this match, I would hope, but we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's an excellent point to bring up. The human element of these matches, the context of the match situation. I mean, Band from 40M 7-0 in the previous match. There wasn't as much pressure to crank out some of these scores. And now here, fighting to keep this tournament going. And to force that bracket reset is a completely different ballgame than just securing a final point against basically pick of the litter. It's one of those situations where it's just got to be best foot forward at this point. Like, you have to respond to whatever your opponent picks. It's not, the ball is not in your court in this situation. And for Dynascape Loves French people, this is tournament point. They have they have 2 tournament points to try and close this out. And for them, it's like, we know the tournament history of some of these players. We know that nerves are a major factor for some of them. For as many situations they've been in where they've managed to clutch it out, asking to clutch it out to win a tournament versus just like a quarterfinals match or a round of 16 match is a completely different ask. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the pick is for Dynascape Loves French people and what the responses are going to be. This is there is no turning back. It's going to be Rice 8. It's going to be Core Jack.
Oh, they're gonna go for Sigil. So not gonna go for Wind's Nocturne, not going to risk it. And this could potentially be the last pick of Dynascape's Intermediate Cup, like, ever. And we're gonna have to see 4 minutes of nothing but pure Core Jack.
This is... okay. I like this pick, but at the same time, I don't. I think Rice 2 would have been the safer pick, but I think Dynascape Loves French people is playing to their strength, and their strength so far this match on the Rice picks in particular has been Kamui. They are a Core Jack player, probably by their own admission. It's up to them to basically be metronomic in this pick.
Yeah, this is where you need, like when we talk about Kamui's Rice abilities, like they need to kick it full gear, and same with Sky as well. Sky is not shy at all to show off their Rice abilities as well. And this is where things matter the most. And here we go underway with these Jacks, and as soon as they start, they don't end.
Yeah, the density ebbs and flows here and there, but we'll see how they handle it as it gets further and further along. Sorry, I cut you off there.
But yeah, and like not only like do you need to handle your physicality and just like your Core Jack durability, because this goes on for 4 minutes, you need to control those nerves. Like you mentioned, like taking that time out just to calm the nerves of like, holy crud, we are gonna win this tournament if we take this next point. And also facing the fact that like, if holy crud, if we lose this point, like we are done for like both sides. And I think that timeout, like you mentioned, was probably just to calm your nerves down and just overall discuss what to go for. And you're just praying that Dynascape Loves French people took the best pick of the litter, and Clamati finding a miss, but that was a really clean miss. There is still lots of map to clean up and get back to that 400 combo cap as these Jacks do come back. And that looked to be probably maybe a nerve break, or just overall just not, or that Jack catching them off guard. But for now, a third of the map has been done. Pantourage missing now. No more FCs on deck. Oh no! And there's another miss from Clamati. And there's one from Pantourage.
The combo breaks coming thick and fast from Ban for 40M. Pantourage was holding on to the highest accuracy in this lobby, even beating out Kamui. The 99.95 falls to a 99.3 as the density continues to rain down, and there is an element of Core Jack picks where your stamina, it's not just the physical stamina that gets tested, because I don't think this is as dent as something like Edison from last round. But the mental taxation, if this were just a 2-minute map, this would have come down to hundreds of points. I think Ban from 40M could have even won this pick, but because of the fact that it's 4 minutes long, the fact that you have to lock in for that long with the pressure on the line as well, it definitely plays a major factor. Both players now back above that 400 combo cap, but Kamui, as we've mentioned before, just a rock on these rice picks, 99.82%. Just in their comfort zone. They are locked in at the moment. Sky playing the perfect supporting role as they have been throughout this late game of this tournament run for Dynascape Loves French People. A quarter of the map left to go. Both of them above that 99.7 mark. Clamati and Patiraj able to recover some of their accuracy, 99.5% for both of them, but the margin is 26,000 points. As Kamui finds the drop, the FC gone for Dynascape Loves French People. It is up to Sky to anchor it down, but Patiraj trades it back this time around. Last eighth of the chart left to go. Only a couple of core jack patterns left to read through. It is more of the same. A couple of hands thrown in just for good measure. Kamui still hanging on to the highest accuracy in this lobby, as they have been on each and every one of these rice charts. Despite the miss, they are still hanging on strong. Sky, only FC in the lobby. They have been the epitome of consistency throughout their tournament, as Bancho tries to keep log of everything going on. That final miss is going to be the final nail in the coffin. It was a valiant effort from Ban from 40M. They pushed Dynascape Loves French People to the absolute limit on some of these picks, but at the end of the day, it is going to be our number 2 seed. Dynascape Loves French People wins Dynascape's Intermediate Cup by a score of 7-4.
And oh my goodness, that was a roller coaster of emotions right there. And just like that, Dynascape Loves French People has taken gold and has won Dynascape's Intermediate Cup by a score of 7-4. And oh my goodness, that, like, I say that's one hell of an effort a lot. This was literally one hell of a match. And congratulations to Dynascape Loves French People, riding that rocket ship into the night, winning Dynascape's Intermediate Cup, and will be crowned the champions of this tournament. We started off with 32 teams, and now one stands as the winner, and it's a case 100, Sky and Kamui pulling it off in the end.
What a tournament that is. I mean, hats off to Ban from 40M. I mean, Patiraj, Koidek, Clamati, like, to put on the show that they did, to put up the performances on those LN charts, it's ridiculous. And I mean, commiserations to them. I mean, it is very hard to go up against a team like Dyna Loves French People on those rice picks, knowing that it's like, where is the kink in the armor on one of those picks? The consistency that they had to go up against, knowing that they had zero room for error, but it finally broke on that final LN pick. And I mean, there were moments they had their opportunities on some of those rice picks, but as it stands, won't be the case here for them. They take home the silver medal. Definitely a very commendable performance at the end of the day. And right now, I think Ban from 40M gonna be bowing out here. We wanted to show off the tiebreaker. We'll be showing it off with the full team of Dynascape Loves French People. Not just because we didn't get a chance to play it in match, unfortunately. It was looking like we were on a crash, on a collision course with it, but it wasn't going to be the case today. But we'll at least show you guys what the chart looks like for good measure here.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to leave you guys without knowing what the tiebreaker showcase would look like, but looks like Band from 40M couldn't play the tiebreaker, so instead we have the second best thing. The entirety of Dynascape Loves French People will be showcasing off the tiebreaker for you guys before we end off the stream for one final time. So buckle up as we showcase the tiebreaker. I believe, if I get the name correctly, it is Climax. And oh man, I mean, like, that is like, I mean, like, I'm already like just like reflecting, like, no, we're just playing Rice 8 again.
We're just yeah. Our wonderful referee, for Gore. they were so caught up. They were so caught up in trying to get things situated that they just straight up forgot they needed to load the map.
And here we go. It's gonna be Climax, and I mean, what better name after, like, with the climax of this tournament being that break point, and now with the falling action being that win from Dynascape Loves French People, winning the tournament, and now with the conclusion being this tiebreaker showcase. I mean, it basically checks all the boxes for a very good story of this tournament, pretty much. And here we go, underway with the tiebreaker. Kamui versus his own teammates. I mean, it makes very much sense with Kamui being like you can name them the MVP of this tournament, pretty much. They have put a valiant effort along with Sky and Case as a wonderful team member, and just overall just a tank for those Rice picks, and even LN as well.
Yeah, for sure. This is a moment to kind of bask in the afterglow of what has been a very hotly contested tournament throughout. There were so many incredible matches, quite a couple of tiebreakers as well, and some pretty shock upsets along the way too, that it's fitting that we get to have the winning team kind of play through this tiebreaker. It's kind of a bit of a victory lap for them to really reflect on what they have just accomplished. Like, forget what's happening on screen here. Just, like, hats off. Like, to be able to come together to take on the teams that they did, to essentially prove to themselves that they could really do it. Like, there were some real veterans that they had to go up against in the tournament scene. Sure, some of them maybe hadn't played 4-key in a while. They're making their resurgence in 4-key. They've maybe transitioned on to either staffing roles or playing 7-key instead and just having a bit of fun. But I mean, they're still really, really good players with a bevy of accomplishments under their belt. So being able to stand up amongst them and even surpass them in this case is definitely something that they should all be incredibly proud of once this map is over and once this tournament as a whole is over.
And yeah, like this, like just a sight to see, honestly. Like, I remember talking to the captain, Case 100, a lot about this team, and like, he has I could tell with him being the captain, he had confidence in this team, and here they are at the grand finals tiebreaker, knowing they just won a tournament against the number 1 seed. And I mean, of course, when it comes in this sense, making seeding, of course, at the end seeding does not matter in the end, but oh my goodness, at some points it can matter the most. And as a little bit of a calm section for everybody, as I think everybody needs to calm down after what we witnessed this entire hour and a half of runtime.
You know what's crazy? I don't
What
think
is
Sky's
crazy?
missed yet.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, don't curse it, but I think Sky has
I
been on
think
a
they're
run.
immune to my curses at this point, honestly. Like, you talked to a case a lot. I've been watching Sky in the last couple of tournaments that they've played in. The level of consistency that this kid has, their ability, sure, they might not have the flashiest accuracy in team performances and even in individual settings, but just their raw ability to combo their way through some of the most absurd sections of charts. Look at that! Everybody
Yeah, like, how?
to be able to do stuff like that is a gift in and of itself, because in those clutch situations where everybody else in a lobby is finding misses, finally they find a break after what, 5,000 combo, but being able to do things like that in a tournament is quintessential to ensuring that your team can pull through when your support is crumbling, to be able to be that last bastion of support to ensure that your team gets over the line. We saw it happen in this match as well, where we had misses from their teammates and they were holding on to the combo just long enough to get that recovery run going, and they were able to see it through to the end. And there were moments in this tournament as well where that was needed, because everybody talks about, like, we're going to talk about Kamui and the MVP performance that they had in this match and throughout this tournament as well. Just unflappable on these rice picks. Even when they did find those misses, the accuracy was more than enough to pull them through. Able to 990k basically everything on that rice bowl in the grand finals. And just knowing that they had that support to get them over the line. Again, congratulations to Dynascape Loves French People, Sky, Akase, Kamui. Hats off. That was an incredible tournament run.
And they will go in history as the Dynascape's Intermediate Cup champions. And oh man, it was a run and a half for them, taking out some of the most notorious teams to get here. Of course, with starting with Anita Max Win Fan Club, moving on to the Swaggers, and then giving up 2 points to Poke & Co, GHJK, BG or BJKJ, and then sweeping Cat Yum Dog Yum Rabbit, and then pulling the upset against Band from 40M, giving up 2 points, and then giving up 4 with the rematch, only giving up a grand total of, I think, 10 points. Only 10. 8 points actually, and even then, that is a valiant effort from them. And for everyone else too, everyone else put up a really good effort as well.
Absolutely.
In this tournament.
Yeah, we gave the roses to our top 2, and now I think we can turn our attention to the rest of the teams that took time out of their weekends to help us put on a very enjoyable experience for everyone overall. We thank you guys for allowing us to, dare I say, torture you guys with some of these maps. Sometimes I know at times it's some of the maps can be a little annoying to play through, and some of the matches as well. You know how it is. It's a normal tournament, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's all in good fun. We hope everybody's enjoyed their time, whether you fell in qualifiers, whether you fell in the first 2 rounds, whether you fell at the end. We definitely appreciate each and every one of you. And with that being said, I turn my attention to the staff team. Every referee, every commentator, every map pooler, every tester, thank you so much for everything that you did, because none of this would be possible. We have the players, of course, but without the staffers to help ensure that each match got the attention it deserved, We wouldn't be able to put on productions like this. Sonny, do you have anything left to add with the staff?
Honestly, as much as I would love to just thank the players, I also always want to give my heartfelt thanks to the staff team, whether you were a referee, whether you were F-Fan 20 or 922 streaming about 75% of the matches, or if you were just a commentator, absolutely giving just giving your talk over the gameplay, hyping up matches, just doing what you do best. And I just thank everyone that even put the tiniest bit of their attention to this tournament. And we hope to see you all for our next BSM tournament, which I don't know when that will happen, but always stay tuned.
For sure.
But for now, do you have anything else to close off the stream with?
I mean, we gave everybody a thanks, but none of this would be possible without our wonderful, wonderful host, Dynascape, the man who orchestrated all of this at the end of the day. Just an insane amount of coordination amongst all the teams, all of the players. Just hats off to them. It is not an easy feat getting a tournament off the ground, and just thanks for allowing us to have a place to do these sorts of things. These tournaments don't come along all that often at this rank range, and yeah, some might argue about things at the end of the line, but ultimately it's all in good fun. And as you mentioned, well, we hope to catch y'all in the next tournament endeavor that we opt to go into. But until then, I think we'll catch y'all later.
As we ride this rocket into the night sky, we will see you all later. Thank you for being a part of Dynascape's Intermediate Cup, and we will all see you all next time. Goodbye.